Hello and welcome to the Dead Air Dudes. I'm Izzy.
I'm Rocker under the light, under the Christmas light.
Okay,
Hello, one and all. And Dead Air Dudes Nation, thank you for rocking us and giving us a most welcomed early Christmas gift.
cheers
We
to
are
you.
proud to announce that we have just leapfrogged over 1,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel. We inch forward towards 10,000 downloads on our podcast,
Yep.
and we're just kicking ass all over the place. And it's all thanks.
We lost Rocker for a second, but yeah, we like to thank you guys and gals and everyone in between for liking, subscribing, and following us and on this journey that we have. This is just the beginning. So, cheers to you guys.
Oh.
That being said, since it's Christmas time, we have a retro Christmas review of Love Actually. Okay.
The hit seasonal Christmas season smash British movie, what is it, 2003?
2003, directed by Richard Curtis and written by Richard Curtis, who also he wrote a bunch of other good films like Notting Hill, for Weddings and a Funeral, and a bunch of other ones he wrote. And obviously, it has a multi-layered starring cast. When just to read off some of the names, you have Hugh Grant, who plays the Prime Minister. You have Martine McCutcheon playing Natalie, Liam Neeson playing Daniel, Laura Linney who plays Sarah, Bill Nighy, Gregor Fisher, Colin Firth, Sienna Guillory, Emma Thompson, Chris Marshall, Martin Freeman, on and on and on. And of course, it's one of our fans would know that it's one of the first movies that we actually saw Rick Grimes, Andrew Lincoln in as well, along
A
with
young, very young
and
Andrew Lincoln.
I think it's eight different couples. The movie bounces back and forth between eight different couples in different stages of love, whatever, and yeah. So
I give him credit because it's quite an undertaking to do in one movie.
yeah,
And what, a little bit over 2 hours, a shade over 215, 213.
215.
215. It is quite an undertaking considering you have a lot of different relationships to keep track of. Not to mention, most of the movie, you don't really see them how they fit into this one tangled web.
Well, the majority they all fit through either family, work, or like friendship. There's a couple deleted scenes that show how you have tertiary characters like Andrew Lincoln's character Mark, how he associated with geez, I forgot her name. Well,
Oh, in the awkwardness of the best friend who's actually in love with the new bride.
yeah, Kira Knightley. Now look, I think also it kind of borders on a bit creepy. I mean, now if you think about it, going back then, you're like, oh, it's kind of sweet, but not. But now it's like, dude, it's a bit stalkerish and creepy. And then on top of that, after you know that, all right, there's spoilers about here, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. So, and that you know that Mark, played by Andrew Lincoln, is a good friend of. I know I always mangle his name. Jeez, would
And he was a budding actor at the time too. He had not really hit the stage hard.
he would tell Ojafor. I destroyed that, but yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Baron Mordo in Doctor Strange. They, he marries.
Good save.
got to be one of her first films because she was pretty young in this film, and and he also is also the videographer, and he ends up filming just her. You know,
Because she's perfect.
yeah,
Now there are some clever moments, and this is not to typecast British movies. British along with European movies, they do a lot of long shots. They do a lot of long scenes, and there are some moments where you have to, from American viewership point of view, there's not too much. There's not an overly done cut and edit pace perspective in a dialogue. You know what I mean? It's a straight sheen, and which is good because there's continuous acting involved. Now,
it's a more
for good and
traditional.
bad, it can run a little long sometimes.
Yeah, but see, but you're looking at you, and I see what you're saying, but I kind of like that because it lets the actors breathe and lets the dialogue be the star of.
Oh no, don't get me wrong. I like that too because
Not as bad.
it leans more towards a play than it does a movie.
Yeah, but I prefer this as opposed to straight monologues like Kevin Smith. And don't get me wrong, I like Kevin Smith, but every character does not speak in monologues. That's not realistic.
No, they do soliloquies left
Yeah,
and right. And
and this is more akin, like as you mentioned before, to a stage play than more of a, But then again, having this multi-layered cast,
it's an undertaking.
yeah, I mean, the fact that you just about no, you actually like finish every story. Well, let's get to that real quickly. All right, you have the prime minister played by Hugh Grant, who
Newly elected.
new elected, relatively new at this position, and I do believe his assistant, well, I forget exactly what her title is.
Oh, she's like head of pastries or something.
All right, so yeah, so Natalie, played by, like I said, Martine McCutcheon, and obviously they like each other and they flirt here and there. And since he's the prime minister and he's single, and
And that leads to the great cameo.
yes, go with that. Go.
So Billy Bob Thornton is president of the United States. I assume it to be a little satirical play on Bush, President Bush Jr. of the time. Not exactly the same in the sense that he is a womanizer, but he comes on the scene. They're talking about, it's very vague politics, but he makes a move and very inappropriate to his head of secretary, his one of his cabinet members, who he has actually got a first impression attraction to, and things go south afterwards, and he basically calls out the president and their relationship and don't be a bully in front of national television, and instantly becomes a British star for standing up to the big bad boy America.
Exactly. Now, obviously, it's a comedy. It's not no, it's not realistic politics or whatever.
No, it's very lighthearted.
Yeah, it's very lighthearted. So obviously, you have that story. Then you have the other story with Liam Neeson, who his wife just recently passed, and his stepson, which I actually had to freaking kind of watch it again because he calls him by his first name, Daniel. And I'm like, oh wait a second, but you should be calling him Dad. It's his stepson, played by the kid from Game of Thrones and a million other movies. He plays Sam.
And this leads into a different love relationship. This is a parental love, and not just parental, step parent love.
Thomas. There you go.
Yeah, so this is this relationship of a step parent to and also, of course, the deceased mom, and to the son, and to the ex-husband, well, the widowed husband, and then on top of it all, he has, I wouldn't even say it's teenage, it's like preteen crush
Yeah.
on somebody in school.
It's almost like I would say they have like a almost like a best friend type of relationship as opposed to a father son relationship, you know?
Because it's complicated. And I totally get it. This is not your biological father, but for all intents and purposes, this is your father.
Yeah, exactly.
And you are the caregiver of this, you're the guardian, you are the father. Putting aside any kind of genetics thing, you are the father, he is the son, and
You are the
you're
father.
going through this very critical point in the kid's life where he's no longer a boy and has discovered liking a girl. And there's that subplot journey.
So he helps him to get the girl, and that's pretty funny and cute. And then you have Laura Linney, who I don't even know where she works. She works in an office. She does something, and she works under oh boy, I forgot his name. Jeez.
Rickman?
What
Was it Rickman? Which character?
Rickman's character,
Alan Rickman, yeah.
Alan Rickman. I forgot his name, but she is in love with Carl, who played by Rodrigo Santoro, who is like a younger guy. You know what I mean? The hot younger guy in the office. While she also has a sick brother.
Yeah, he seems to have some mental issues,
Yeah,
and no longer the parents are no longer around, so she's the caregiver, and she's the only attachment he has to being grounded. So there's another love relationship. This is sibling.
which is because it be sidebar. This is pretty funny, but the director and the casting director, along with everyone involved in the film, they wanted someone like Laura Linney to play that role. And they, after an exhaustive search, they were like, you know what? How about we just get Laura Linney to play the role? And obviously, she auditioned and she killed it, obviously, and then boom, the rest is history.
As you can see, if you ever do watch the movie and then you appreciate it the way we do, the casting is phenomenal. And I know it's retrospect. This is a retrospective, but for them to get this good mix of older, younger, seasoned, and people who've not really done comedy and other things, they pull this off excellently, superbly.
Yeah. Speaking of older, we have Bill Nye, who plays this older musician who was trying to get one last big hit, and his manager, played by Gregor Fisher.
That's hysterical. That's
In fact, also they were thinking about getting like Mick Jagger or Bowie to play it, but then they figured that they would probably be too into the role and try to change it. But Bill Nye played it perfectly, like this older guy who doesn't give an F, and he's kind of remaking his own one of his biggest hits into a Christmas song.
that's how you start off the movie, which is hysterical.
Which is a Love All Around, change it to Christmas All Around, and you could. And spoilers, their relationship ends up being one of the big love stories, and obviously the bromance between him and his best
That's really just pure
friend.
friendship.
Exactly, like after he becomes big again, he has an opportunity to hang out with Elton John. He's like, you know what? I found myself hanging with Elton John with a bunch of scantily clad, chicas, and I thought of you hanging out with you.
Yeah, he makes a comedic line there, and that's again, this Love Actually is really quite clever in really delving deep into different types of relationships, and it's more than just friendship. He gets to a point where he's actually lonely. He does make these self revelations, but not he doesn't grasp it and appreciate it all at one time, but he does realize he's older and alone.
Exactly.
But making it back on top, he could not have done it unless his manager, who's been he's been the only person by his side throughout, has stuck with him,
all of his shit,
sacrificed, took all his crap, and made him for who he is. And then he's alone by himself. He's at a party, living up the life of a rock star, but realizes means nothing. Being with his friend and getting pissed drunk that night is where he wants to be. on Christmas Eve.
Now we go to Colin Firth, who plays Jamie. I think he's an author, right?
Yes, and that was an awkward beginning to it. It's akin to old school Here for the Gangbang.
Yeah.
Except he comes back from the wedding and discovers his, I guess, wife, girlfriend, whatever, with his brother. And awkward.
Awkward.com. So then he goes to France to, I guess, go away and write. And there he meets oh boy, what's her name? The Portuguese girl who is staying there and helping, and I guess being a maid or whatever, helping out. And the funny thing is that she speaks no English, he doesn't speak Portuguese, and somehow, Love Actually. So
there's that clever, cute moment where he's at the docks or by the pond or lake, and the wind blows, and she's trying to serve him some food and stuff, and all the papers go flying, and of course, she tries to salvage all of his manuscript from the pond, and she just strips down close to naked, dips in, and of course he has to go follow. And that is, here's the thing. This romantic comedy does not get ultra raunchy, which wait, I take that back. There are some other parts to it, but it's very lighthearted because we're gonna get to that. Okay, let's get to that now.
Yeah, it doesn't never crosses over. And same thing, it can get cheesy to a degree, but it doesn't get over. It does, but
it doesn't do itself in. It doesn't inflict a self-inflicted wound. It works. It works. So the other couple, oh my goodness, the young comedian at the time, but now he's not so young. He plays the CIA agent in Marvel now, and he's been a comedian.
He played,
my God,
Bilbo. He played in The Hobbit, and Martin Freeman, along with Just Judy.
Galaxies, the Guide to the Galaxies, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
So they're body doubles, right? Stand-ins, right?
They're stand-ins, and they're stand-ins doing love scenes.
Yeah.
And those scenes are awkward as heck, and it's because they're actual people. They're doing this because that's their jobs, but they end up liking each other more than doing the deed.
And so, like, they meet simulating sex, but not doing anything. But at the same time, they actually get to know each other pretty well and Love Actually. On to Emma Thompson, who's married to Alan Rickman, who also happens to be the sister of the prime minister. In The Office, where also Laura Linney works, and you also have Mia, who is the assistant or the secretary for
Alan Rickman's character, who has the hots for him.
And he has a straight up, because I actually researched this. Yes, he does have an affair. He has an affair with Mia, and Emma Thompson finds out in a pretty rough way.
So this is the part of the movie that you actually get a bit of that heart flutter, hesitation stop, where you're like, oh shit, because she discovers it. Not in your face, but pretty subtle. I'm not going to spoil everything for you guys, but again, in a clever way, you love and appreciate when directors and writers show you without showing you.
Yeah, exactly.
But you put two and two together, and it lingers, and it festers, and it comes to a head. So that's a extramarital issue thing on top of a family life, and that's a different kind of love. Where can the love survive that thing? How it tests the strength of love and family, and whether it should be endured or not, or people just want to move on. I don't know. I'm not going to explore that right now for everybody, but he does not shy away from that part of love in this movie, and you can take sides on it and you can think about it, but uh, I'm I'm glad that he put that in there because especially office party stuff and office politics and with what's that term they use? Oh, that's your work wife and blah 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 blah. It gets a little dicey. That's the one relationship that gets a lot on edge. And I think you've covered all the couples. Oh yes, you have.
Yeah, and then you have some comic relief where you have with Chris Marshall, who's the charming but you know funny but not so lovable loser who wants to come to America to meet an
Oh,
American girl because he feels that all British women are all stuck up. So he ends up going to Wisconsin of all places, and he meets not one, not two, but three, not but four of Wisconsin's finest, which is kind of funny because I think three aren't even American. But that's besides the point in real life. But I'm not gonna say who they are. They're all, fairly prominent actresses, and it's that's the kind of a comic relief. Then he brings them over to the UK and shows his friend Tony, and who Tony also works as, I do believe, an assistant on the set where just Judy and Martin Freeman met. So everything is interconnected, and we're not going to get into further detail as far as the
no, yeah, I think we've spread it out way too much already with the plot. So, what works in this rom com, especially a seasonal rom com, is that it's a good blend
Mhm.
of serious, lighthearted, contemplative stuff without pounding it into you, right? Because there's so many different aspects of it. And if it went serious, it becomes more of a drama and a tragedy. And keeping it lighthearted with the spirit of the holiday, it it works and it entertains and keeps you positive because this is the one last spoiler, which is no secret. It's a happy ending,
yes,
as most rom coms should be, and most romantic books are. It keeps a happy ending where you think it may not happen because of certain things that happen that go on.
yeah, but
And not every solution and not every ending is perfect. It's happy.
exactly. Which we're not going to spoil those. I mean, we spoiled enough already. And it's a romantic comedy, but you know how sometimes in most romantic comedies you have a like something that happens, or an antagonist or something that stops the couple from getting together. This is more grounded in reality in the sense that you don't have that specific you know obstacle, except for just life itself, which I don't know if I
It drives a point that if it's really love, it will endure. It will find an answer and you will find somebody. And every situation is so different.
oh
I give it credit. It doesn't redundant, it doesn't get rehashed. There's every relationship had its own strains, obstacles, solutions. And again, not all perfect, but he gets to the root of what love is in each subplot couple. And the way it ties up at the end, you don't think it might, and you just wonder how it's all going to. It's very fitting, a little classical, but it's very fitting. And again, doesn't tie up everybody, but most of the the webs get cleared up as to who is what, why, and how they're related to each other. You feel good at the end. Do you feel good at the end?
I feel it at the end. No, I'm thinking this movie also I think it could use a reboot, to be honest with you.
Because yes, it is 20 years ago.
Yeah, it could use a reboot and to make it more current to the current, you know, state of affairs in life, love, and the pursuit of happiness. And I think that's something that could be welcome, but you can't force it. It has to be as
Organic.
organic and as fitting as this movie is. Now, is it
I
perfect?
give him credit too that it's not an ultra diverse cast, but there is some diversity in for 2003.
No, I mean, dude. I mean, for 2003, it's fair.
It actually was, yeah. I mean, and then that's why it inevitably will be part of the conversation if they do a reboot where they're going to probably throw a few twists and turns of more modern day complexities.
Of course. I mean, yeah. So
And okay, so music, tone, pacing, of course, the cast, the acting, the dialogue, the storylines, the individual plot lines. What stands out, beyond all that stuff we just mentioned, is that it is a masterful way to keep this 8 major conflicts from going sideways. And I can't quantify equal time and equal share time, but it doesn't have to be. You can remember where each one is going pretty easily.
it was pretty masterful. You go and you do like a couple minutes here, then boom, you shift, boom, couple minutes here, boom, you shift back, boom, 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 boom. And yet what makes it work, as I mentioned before, they're all interconnected. So bottom line, all right, what's your retro rating out of 10?
Love Actually, I would give it an 8.5 out of 10 for the genre of holiday rom-com.
Yeah, I think
And give it a little higher of a rating than maybe I normally would, because the rest of Hollywood holiday rom-coms, the majority of which suck.
I would all right. I'm gonna give 2 grades here. As a regular rom as a regular rom com in the pantheon of rom coms, it's good, not great. What it does well, it does very well. And but it also has moments of it almost gets a bit cheesy, but then all rom coms are. As a holiday film, I think it works extremely well. So 8 for regular, 8.2 as a holiday rom com. Everyone needs to watch it if you're a fan of the genre, and even if you're not, there's something for everybody here. I mean,
So that's really an 8.1.
there you go, 8.1.
8.1 total score. We're not too far off, which is interesting. And this begs a question of a follow-up video, guys. Top 10 Hollywood holiday rom-coms.
Yeah, we'll see if we can whip something up in the next couple days for you guys. Once
Get
again,
into the kitchen.
thank you all for the 1,000 subscribers, and get ready for the 2022 Dead Air Dudes Awards, where we're gonna have a bunch of categories. We're gonna try to do it in one video. If not, we'll have a couple videos, and we'll have a special guest PBJ with us. And yeah.
For sure, we're going to close out the year with some highly controversial, cutting edge, but truthful, in your face,
In your mouth.
awesome. Listen, and I will be the first to tell you all. Academy Awards, Tonys, Emmys, all that. It's a load of crock of shit. It's political. It's driven by other means. I'm sure somebody's pockets are lined. The Deader Dudes are receiving not one penny from anybody. And we're telling you like it is of what's the best movies to watch. And we have a special category, a dumpster fire category. Do not watch. Do not waste your time. So if you want to know what's really entertaining, what hits you in the face, what is the real best movies in different categories, best performances, and best everything, tune in to the Deader Dudes 2022 End of the Year Awards.
Who will win Performer of the Year? That being said, I'm Izzy.
I'm Raka, and you are Dead of Dudes Nation. Thanks for everything you do for us, and hope the seasons are kind to you. And to remember, always, always save the whales.
Take care, everybody.